clearing up shanties, checking COO violations, and ensuring recreational centers are not hubs for criminal activities. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has been busy these few weeks, and we bring you the details in our focus on the FCT. To break down these operations and expected reforms in the nation's capital is the FCT Security Secretariat, and we'll get to all this after we give you a rundown of the major stories in the nation's capital. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I am Kayla Megwa. The president is out of the country on a two-nation visit. But before he left, the Federal Executive Council placed a 7-year ban on creation of new tertiary institutions. And the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, met with the president in Abuja and called for social safety nets to help citizens cushion the current hardship in the country. Here's more on our Abuja Wrap.
The week began with President Bola Tinubu congratulating the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, on retaining the World Health Organization's Maturity Level 3 status for the regulation of medicines and vaccines. As contained in a statement by the Special Advisor to the President, Bayo Onanuga, the latest evaluation followed a formal re-benchmarking in November 2024 and 5 institutional development plan review meetings between February and April 2025 to assess progress on corrective actions. The governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, has met with President Bola Tinubu, describing the president as being in high spirit, hale and hearty. This is coming after days of speculation in some parts of the media about the president's health. The governor also spoke on why he's supporting the president, adding that all political parties professing progressivism should actually come out together in a massive coalition to deepen the process. President Bola Tinubu has emphasized the urgent need to bridge the gap between educational output and industry requirements to unlock Nigeria's economic potential. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who represented President Bola Tinubu at the opening of the National Industrial Manpower Summit 2025 at the State House Conference Center, Abuja, said the country must urgently invest in its citizens or would risk dire consequences.
For a nation with a median age of about 17, Nigeria is an incredibly young country. This usefulness is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. We must make our young people not just a demographic statistic, but a central component of our policy-making process. This is why we have rolled out programs to address the deficits in our human capital, knowing that the quality of our people will determine the quality of our future.
The Federal Executive Council has approved a 7-year freeze on the establishment of new federal tertiary institutions across the country in a bid to address duplication and improve the quality of existing ones. According to the Minister of Education, who briefed journalists after the Federal Executive Council meeting, access to tertiary education is no longer an issue in the country. He said what is rampant now is duplication of new federal tertiary institutions and significant reduction in the current capacity of each of these institutions.
The shocking data that we're seeing today, we have 199 universities that less than 99 candidates apply to seek to go to those universities. 64 colleges of education had 0 candidates choosing them. So if we want to improve the quality of our tertiary institution and not be a laughing stock across the world, the first decision today is the most pragmatic and the best for our educational system.
The Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has emphasized the need for the federal government to grow the Nigerian economy and put in place social safety nets to help citizens cushion the current hardship in the country. Speaking after meeting with President Bola Tinubu in the State House, the Director General said the federal government should be commended for stabilizing the country's economy through its reforms, accompanied by the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Olajumoke Oduwole. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala also appreciated the President and First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, for the Women Exporters Fund launched in Abuja to support women through economic hardship. And as the week winds down, President Bola Tinubu has departed Abuja for a two-nation trip to Japan and Brazil. The president left on Friday around 11:15 a.m. The president was seen off at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport by his Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and other government officials. According to a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Nanuga, the President will stop over in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, before proceeding to Japan. In Japan, President Tinubu will attend the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development in the city of Yokohama from August the 20th to the At the end of the conference, President Tinubu is to proceed to the Republic of Brazil on a two-day state visit from Sunday the 24th of August to Monday the 25th of August.
Welcome back. The Joint Task Force of the Federal Capital Territory Administration has dismantled and cleared illegal structures in and around the UTC market in the Garki area of the nation's capital. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Minister Nyesom Wike, has inaugurated a committee to identify areas of violation of certificates of occupancy within the nation's capital. And after a raid in Wuse Zone 3 area of the Abuja city center, which they believe is a hideout for criminals, the Joint Security Task Force of the Federal Capital Territory says it has impounded 20 vehicles and recovered dangerous weapons used by criminals for stealing and kidnapping in the nation's capital. Please watch this. The Joint Security Task Force of the Federal Capital Territory Administration converge on the Eagle Square in Abuja for a debrief before setting out for the day's operation. This operation is a follow-up to the FCT Minister's directive during a security meeting on August the 5th, 2025, to rid the city of criminal elements. On arrival at this area in Wuse Zone 3, the team, led by the FCTA's Director Development Control Department, Mr. Mukhtar Galadima, immediately swung into action.
We've been able to identify a location that somehow poses a lot of challenge to the city's security and then city's aesthetic quality. And we've been able to clear the menace and even to chase some of the people of the questionable character. But we are not ending today. We are coming back tomorrow to do what we call a mop-up exercise. In the plan of Abuja, where we are standing now is a proposed road corridor that has been designated as the Inner Northern Expressway, just like what we have as Goodluck Ebele Jonathan Expressway. So this is the mirror of it in the northern sector. Following the recent directive, unlike before where we just clear and move on, now every side we clear, we are going to commit it to a particular thing. So what I mean is that we are going to take possession of that particular space. Now there are statutory plots which have been carefully laid out and allocated. You see, this was the misconception we had before, thinking that these are just green areas. But looking at the scenario of today, these areas have been used and misused by people of questionable character. So now that it has been statutorily allocated, the owners will soon take possession of those spaces that have been demarcated. They have been residing illegally, so there is nothing we can do about them but to chase them out of the place. Moreover, this place has been designated for another use. It's not supposed to accommodate them, but they were just occupying illegally.
Aside from distorting the master plan of the city, the team also believes that criminal activities are being carried out on the property.
These are the weapons most of these criminal elements who are hibernating in this particular axis normally used to attack unsuspecting passers-by and motoring public. Here leads from here they can go towards the National Mosque bridge, and they can also access the Zone 1 bridge. So most of those complaints you hear that motoring public or passerbys complain that they are being attacked. When they attack them, they not only collect their valuables, they also go ahead to machete them with this. Evidences abound in the various police posts around here. So what we have recovered is just part of the tools, weapons they use in attacking people. And the clearance operation we have done here will bring great respite to people living around here and people plying those key roads that we've mentioned this morning. Before we got here, most of them, they disappeared. But from what we have done right now, that we have cleared the place, they don't even have a place to come and lay their head again. And that's why this operation is a continuous and sustained one, just like the director have mentioned.
We have about 20 vehicles impounded. Not only impounded, they were towed from this place. Some of them are being used for one chance. As you can see, we've been able to clear the place, this place of all abandoned vehicles.
A few days later, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, inaugurated a committee to identify areas of violation of certificates of occupancy within the nation's capital. Speaking during the inauguration ceremony at the FCTA headquarters in Abuja, Mr. Wike lamented that there is no distinction between commercial and residential areas anymore, which he believes contravenes the master plan. The minister also inaugurated a committee to oversee some issues that have sprung up between the FCTA and a private estate located along the airport road.
Part of what we have in Abuja today is not the original master plan. If you see some people have their CFOs, and if you look at what is to be used, it will be stated for commercial, it will be stated for residential. But today you find out that all those things are gone without prior approval of government. So if you have a CFO that its purpose is for residential, but go there today, it's turned to commercial. Now, this committee is to identify all those areas that are in violation of the use of the certificate of occupancy as given to citizens or residents, as case may be. Having identified them, you have to recommend to government what appropriate step to be taken so that we comply to the rules or to the guidelines that we're given. This is very, very important to us. So the committee will have to advise government, and this will be done within 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time, because when you give long time, there's no commitment to the work.
Meanwhile, the Joint Task Force on the Federal Capital Territory Administration has demolished illegal structures in and around the UTC market in the Garki area of the nation's capital. According to the FCTA's Director, Development Control Department, Mr. Mukhtar Galadima, the UTC market has been listed by the administration as a dark spot and criminal hideout. Furthermore, he says, the FCTA will take possession of the property as it originally is a transit corridor.
The UTC is one of the areas that has been listed as a hot spot or dark spot. And then today, while coming here, we notice a kind of refuse dump that has been left untended. So as part of city sanitation, we have to clear that side first before coming to the main area where the hoodlums are. And on getting here, we have seen what is really disturbing and alarming. So something serious has to be done. That's why we're here now. Immediately after clearance, not that we are going forever, we'll come back, mop up, and then make sure that, as I said earlier on, we are going to put the place into a use that is friendly to transportation activities of the federal capital city. In the master plan of Abuja, and particularly the land use plan for Phase 1 and Garki district, this is part of the transitway corridor. It's a system that runs across the city. from here up to behind the AMAC Ministry of Defense, going towards, behind Fraser Suit, up to, Zone 3.
The FCT Security Joint Task Force consists of the Nigerian Police, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Federal Road Safety Corps, among others. For more updates on Operation Sweep and other operations going on simultaneously, and giving us answers to human rights violations and questions that have been raised, we're joined tonight by Dr. Peter Olumuji, the FCT Administration's Secretary, Command and Control Center. Dr. Peter Olumuji, welcome again to Dateline Abuja.
It's nice having me back here.
Let's talk about this operation.
All right.
Well, there have been several operation sweeps. I've lost count. But in any case, another drive to sanitize the FCT. The last time we saw that the beggars were being picked up and street urchins. But this one now you're focusing on criminal hideouts. And everyone has been talking about this Zone 3 clearing, you know, because that one has been long overdue for very many people. Talk to us a little bit about the experience on the field and what are some of the things that the FCTA is seeing in these clearing exercises.
Yes, you know, from what we have started on the 7th of July this year, where the minister inaugurated the Operation Sweep Abuja team, that team worked for a month, and because of the success stories that we're able to achieve by reducing crime in the FCT, the minister extended the mandate of that operation. But what most people don't know is that presently we have 2 clearance operations going on simultaneously.
Yeah.
We have the Operation Sweep Abuja, and we have the City Sanitation Operation, you know, which is also going on simultaneously with that of Operation Sweep. And we have noticed from intelligence report from the security agencies that have been presented to the minister and complained by the good residents of the FCT, we realize that there's a growing rate of insecurity and threats to lives and property of the resident. And the FCT administration is a proactive administration, and that's why the minister had to bring up this operation to ensure that those places that have been identified as criminal hideouts and have been aiding and abetting crime within the FCT are removed. Whenever you have people migrating into a particular place, the good, the bad, and the ugly will also come into the place. And that is why the clearance operation we have been doing of recent is to target those identified criminal hideouts. You know, at times people have taken privilege to be right. And like the CP will always tell us, he said, when you allow privilege to fester for too long, people can even go to court to enforce rights, their right on privilege that is not meant to be. And that is what we have just noticed.
Zone 3.
You know, Zone 3 now, when you look at Zone 3.
Criminal hideout. I was watching our correspondence with you, and the conversation was around the fact that some criminal activities were happening in that Zone 3 where everybody goes to eat food.
Now, when you look at Zone 3, you have gardens within that environment. Then, behind those gardens, you have this colony of shanties that these criminal element guys hibernate. And how do they operate? They go towards the National Mosque bridge because we've received complaints, people passing by, and these boys just appear from the dark and attack them. We see motorists that had issues with their vehicle, and while they are trying to fix it up, these people come and they rob them. You also look at the other side when you are coming from the NMPC downwards to Zone 1 bridge. Also, people have also complained. And from intelligence and recce that have been conducted, it was identified that the people that perpetrate these crimes are all residing within that shanties and bachas. And you know,
at Zone 3.
At Zone 3. And you know, again, the government is trying to ensure that because that's a road path that is coming from Grand Square, linking to Zone 3 axis. But again, these people that now hibernate there have not increased the crime rate within that environment. And the day we went to clear it, the first day, we recovered machetes. And people have also complained, most of the victims they attack have complained that these people attack them with machetes and the rest in the night. So we're able to recover it.
UTC.
UTC is another place that, we have the informal sector shops.
Because there are a lot of businesses in that place.
A lot. We have the informal sector shop that was approved by the FCT administration. But within the informal sector and behind Agora Hotel and Zone 7, there's a large piece of land there that these criminal elements come in name of Babambola, in name of scavengers. A lot of complaints have also been received by the security agencies on the nefarious activity they've been perpetrating within that environment zone. Area 7, Area 8, Area 11, down to Area 2, and they come back to that place. And that is why we had to go in there to also dislodge that illegality, because what they are building there is an illegality, and we have to go there to dislodge it. And the good news is that most of the places we have gone, the residents today are happy to tell us that the crime rate, those apprehension, the fear they have before now have reduced. Now, they don't think of having high BP again, because those places have really reduced. What we have done has really reduced the crime rate.
Are there innocent people being caught in this crossfire?
Well,
because there are many people who have been crying out on social media, people who had restaurants, Mama Put. A lot of those places, they were really meeting a very serious need for a lot of people, especially if you like to eat, local food, So many of those businesses, they've been crying out.
I gave you a scenario that when people start taking privilege as rights, then they will also go to court to enforce it. Just like where we cleared yesterday at Apo Resettlement behind the Sahad Hospital. It's a large expanse of cashew plantation that you have different type of people residing there.
Yes.
And also the place we cleared between Apo and Guzape is another cashew plantation that we also cleared. Now you have people residing in these places. These are people's plot of land.
Yes.
The legitimate owner of those plot of land have been refused entering to take over their plot of land.
Yep.
Now, if you own a plot of land and the administration have said, develop, pay your ground rent, and you have been paying ground rent, and you want to come and develop, and you meet people who are not meant to be there, what will you do? Are you going to applaud and allow them to be when you ought to develop your plot? If we are talking about development, the property must be done. And when you allow these people that have privileges to now extend too much, then it becomes, they now go to court to enforce it as if it's a right. We are not saying every one of them, they are criminals. Let's take note of that.
Okay.
What we are saying is that these are places that don't have a known address, you don't have a street name, you don't have anything. They can't even profile people coming into those settlements with them. And most of these people that come there, there's a lot of illicit drug dealing and peddling that goes on there. There's a lot of criminalities that start from there and go into the neighborhood.
So after you demolish, and I think we've had this conversation, I ask this question every time we see.
That's true.
When you finish the operation, what happens? The criminal elements, you probably didn't do any arrests. Just it was a cleanup, so you picked up things. People probably ran when they saw people coming. Then now they've moved to another location. We'll just continue playing this game? Moving from one place to the other. They move here, you demolish. They'll move here, you demolish. They'll move. You continue to do it. Is there a lasting solution, or is this just the way it's going to be done?
I love this last question you just asked, because most people said, if you dislodge them here, are they not going to start going to another location to build, to continue this, their livelihood and the rest? And the answer is no. Why am I saying no? Number one, these places we are dislodging them from, that have been hub of criminalities are being taken over by the government. That is number one.
Okay.
Number two, these people that thought...
So those places are not going to be fallow because
they are not going to be fallow.
Because that's usually the drama.
No, they are not going
to
be fallow.
It becomes fallow. Then after a while, they will come back again.
Presently, if you go to UTC, the place we have cleared, we are fencing it already. Zone 3, fence has been erected.
What of Durumi?
Durumi is another ball game on its own. And there's a committee that is working on that. Very soon, we are going to let the cat out of the bag for you.
Okay.
There's an holistic operation that is going to take place in that place. But let me just explain this. Now, those people that thought if they move from point A to point B, they are going to start their way of life. I'm sorry to disappoint them. That is not going to happen this time around. Remember I said we have 2 operations going on simultaneously.
Yes.
Operation Sweep Abuja and city sanitation operation. As the city sanitation is dislodging them and they are trying to relocate to another place, Operation Sweep is after them. So now, what we have even gotten, because at times we interact with some of these people, we realize that over 60% of them have even left the FCT.
Okay.
Now, the remaining 40 that we think they are going to squeeze themselves in another location, we have the Operation Sweep going after them. So now, once you are not doing the right thing, you cannot take privilege as right in the FCT again.
Dr. Peter Olumuji, thank you very much for making out the time to speak with us.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with all your operations, and I'm sure we'll have you here again.
Very, very soon. Thank you.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. Please let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handles showing right now on your screens. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kayla Magwa. See you next time.